Everyone knows The Boys is a phenomenal series. Everyone knows the hype before the 5th and the final season is massive. Everyone also knows that season 4 was trash. But that's a topic for another time. Today, I want to present a slightly controversial opinion. In my view, the worst episode of The Boys is the season 3 finale. And it even might be the first crack that leads to the show's potential downfall. Of course, we'll know that for sure after the final season arrives, but I already have my concerns. The build-up and tensions were amazing. Season 3 gave us clear divisions within the boys, the development of Huey into a full-fledged, confident and competent team member, Ryan building a relationship with his father, Homelander, Starlight exposing Vol's secrets to the world, Kimiko losing her powers, and the introduction of a force equal to Homelander, Soldier Boy, who we later find out is actually Homelander's father. Phew! A lot happened. No wonder many people called it the best season. The tension leading up to the final was intense. Soldier Boy wants to finish his revenge by killing Black Noir. Butcher and Maeve wants to kill Homelander. Homelander wants to pull Soldier Boy to his side. Starlight is disappointed in Maeve for not acting like a hero. Huey faces the question of whether the end justifies the means. Seeks revenge on Soldier Boy. Kimiko pushes Frenchie to finally stand up to Butcher. I am not a fan of how Black Noir was killed off by Homelander. Unceremonial and brutal. Yes, it's shocking, and yes, it does hit Homelander emotionally. For the first time we see that killing someone actually hurts him. He truly liked Noir, treated him as a friend, and feels betrayed by the hidden truth about his father. Psychology? This works. But it completely cheapens Black Noir as a character. They had to build a great concept around him, a silent, comical presence. Once we learn his tragic backstory with Soldier Boy, and understand why he couldn't remove his mask, because at that time the public didn't want a black superhero, we sympathize with him even more. Also, the irony that A-Train is called the first black member of the Seven hits harder. My boy Noir. Wow, losing Noir like that really hurts. But not only Noir is robbed of any chance at revenge against Soldier Boy, but he's killed quickly, brutally, like a total loser. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the intended impact, because this isn't Game of Thrones. There, shocking and unsatisfying deaths were the norm, and they meant to mean something. They revealed the truth about the world and pushed character arcs forward. Take the death of Ned Stark. It established Joffrey as an impulsive, reckless, attention-seeking and unstable ruler. It put the Starks on a collision course with the Lannisters, started the war, made Sansa turn against Joffrey, and begins Arya's transformation. That death mattered, even if it was pathetic, anticlimactic. Black Noir death? Practically ignored afterward. It turns out that he existed just to deliver exposition. Creatively, sure, but still only exposition. And the writers clearly didn't know what to do with him, so they simply got rid of him. Now speaking of Game of Thrones, in the final battle, Homelander plays his trump card, Ryan, Soldier Boy's grandson. The tension is brilliant. We genuinely don't know how the things will play out. Soldier Boy chooses to kill Homelander, despite the blood connections, which we completely buy. Earlier, he talked about wanting children, but also about his own father viewed him as a disappointment. Now, he tells Homelander exactly the same thing, passing the cycle of aggression along. And since he had mocked Homelander's escape early, we know he despises him. It's a pity this dynamic wasn't explored even more, the potential was there, but fine. Fair enough. And now, everything starts collapsing. Ryan tries to stop Soldier Boy, but gets knocked out. Homelander checks on Ryan's condition, Soldier Boy prepares for a killing blow. And here's something powerful. For the first time, Homelander shows a genuinely human reflex, worrying about his injured son, despite the fact that Soldier Boy, a massive threat, is right next to him. Meanwhile, Soldier Boy is ready to kill both his son and the grandson.
Even to a guy like me, that's cold.
Heavy stuff. The exchange of glances between Butcher and Maeve says it all. Butcher stabs Soldier Boy together with Homelander. Wow! Nobody saw that coming. Epic moment. Then, Soldier Boy throws Butcher hypocrisy right back in his face. And he's absolutely right. At this point, Butcher stops being the audience hero. Why? Soldier Boy, even though he barely knew Butcher, and he wasn't a threat to him, gave his word that he would kill Homelander in return for help. Even after learning Homelander was his son, he didn't hide it from Butcher, he stayed true to the mission, but Butcher? Bro, you have to kill him, blood ties don't matter. And now, he saves Homelander's life because of Ryan. Because he's the son of his dead wife. Even Soldier Boy calls him out on it, straight to the face.
Wait, Homelander f***ed your wife?
I can understand Butcher's choice emotionally, but at this point, he stops being a good guy. His arc should have shifted toward villainy right now, but the show still tries to present him as he is right. If this had been framed as Butcher's realization, that some lines simply shouldn't be crossed, it would have been just fine. But here, he just comes across as an obsessed hypocrite. The final battle begins. Soldier Boy beats down everyone. Maeve faces Homelander and bloodies his nose. Really? Sorry, I don't buy it. Homelander took way heavier blows from Soldier Boy during Herogasm and only got a bruise, and Maeve bloodies him with an uppercut? You're telling me that punch was stronger than Soldier Boy's hits? Thankfully, Homelander quickly reserves dominance, showing that he was holding back. What's absolutely ridiculous is that Maeve manages to pierce his ear. How? This guy can survive a nuclear explosion and a metal root shoved by Maeve got through his ear? Because she tried harder? So what, if she had her sword, she could have defeated him? It makes no sense. Soldier Boy, cornered, prepares for a massive explosion to kill everyone around him. And now, Maeve's arc warps up. She sacrifices herself, tackling Soldier Boy out of the window, finally becoming the hero Starlight always believed she could be. Of course, Maeve somehow survives, and here's why I call this episode the worst in The Boys. Total lack of consequences. Maeve survives, even though she lost her powers during the explosions in the mid-air, and the fall alone should have killed her. It completely robs the sacrifice of its emotional impact. Soldier Boy is put back into hibernation. The boys stop using temporary V. Homelander walks away, and Vought faces zero real consequences. The only real fallout of this episode is Homelander killing a civilian, and the crowd cheers for him. That's actually a fantastic moment that pushes the boundaries of how much Homelander can get away with. But aside from that, nothing changes. Everyone survives, nothing is achieved. Butcher is given just enough time left to live for 2 more seasons. They even introduced a new Black Noir next season, only worse one. Meanwhile, Eli Kripke, the showrunner, explained why Maeve wasn't killed. He said that even though the series is brutal and loves gore, Maeve had made her right moral choices and didn't deserve to die. He also didn't want to fall into bury your gays trope, since Maeve is bisexual, and he thought it was important for her to have a happy ending. Like, wow, a show that built its popularity on a brutal satire and merciless storytelling suddenly bending to political correctness? Sure, it's not as bland as butchering Frenchie's storyline next season, or Starlight being mad for Huey for being raped, and that's a topic for another time. Second, the plot armor here is insane. Darth Vader made the right moral choice at the end of The Return of the Jedi, but it didn't save him. And that's exactly why his death hits 5 times harder. I know I'm nitpicking, but I really think Maeve's arc ruins this episode. Emotionally, it could have worked a season earlier, but here, we cared about Soldier Boy and his resolution, and instead, they completely dropped his storyline and shoved Maeve into the spotlight, even though she barely had anything to do this season. Bravo. And after that, it only got worse. Let me know if you want an episode tearing season 4 apart from top to bottom, and what do you expect from season 5. See you next time.